Yes, greetings and the best of salutations, I see. And in those salutations, it deals with peace, um, prayer, power, patience, and prosperity. Yes, I would like to try to speak in this regards when it comes to growing, when it comes to, you know, um, learning how to reason from the premise of conversation, um, as well as reasoning with progression as opposed to regression in the struggle of sense versus common sense versus nonsense, and the results thereof. And in doing so, we hope that that many will grow in their knowledge, in their awareness, in their understanding when it comes to of one's healing, of one's healing, and on a continuing basis. Some take it personal. They some people grow in knowledge of his or her healer. You know, it's personal there. hmm And but I would like to say one grow in knowledge in their healing, and that happens to do with closely associated with one's environment. One's environment. And when I think of the word environment, I think of it in a linguistic sense of iron and something that has to do with chemical, and that has to do with even something that is unbalanced or balanced. And because the key to it all is balance, you know. And meant is meant for us to be balanced, to be balance. I should say balance. And in any environment, a healing environment, the your serenity becomes higher and your stress becomes lower. That is a healing environment. So as I try to speak to the when it comes to the international community and making an international connection, when it comes to the spirit of cooperation and guided by the energy of coordination, and speak from the authority of resiliency, because resiliency is the author of one's success, and speaking to the international community in this wise, in making the international connection, is that one must go beyond a race, class, gender, religion, politics, education, and economics. And doing so, it the result into a healing environment and cooperation unto group solidarity. Yes, and that is to be respected. And how can we compare something or someone in regards to in regards to making sense out of nonsense, or common sense, I should say, the struggle common sense versus nonsense. And I think what, and in this wise, it is dealing with social comparison. Social comparison. I think we have a challenge of social comparison. That when there is social conflict, there is a illness. And what can equate to oneness is stronger than conflict, and unity is stronger than diversity. Nothing can equate to that, you know. And there was a story about it, whom they call, I don't get caught up in personalities, but that which is happening amongst our humanity, because I'm talking about communicating to this international community, international connection of the language of humanity, and when one goes through his or her conversion process, people can hear your voice, but they don't. They can't see the light. The vision, because what people really need is vision. And it's contingent upon the scope of the lens in which you're using to look out and see the vision, you know. And when those lenses are being controlled and by something or someone that doesn't have your best interest at heart, and then therefore you don't have the best interest at heart for yourself, and they will give you a lens to use and say this is your guide in determining your best interest. And it knocks you out of balance. Yes. And then therefore when you are unbalanced, you are stumbling and wandering around, you know, and because you have no balance. And because when you have balance, understanding speaks clearly. You have understanding. So in this expression, excuse me, when it comes to social comparison and vision and the need of vision, is that vision stems from the source of one's thinking and the lenses in which we use. You know, one could hear the voice. One can be, the point is this, one could be with you for 10 years, possibly, maybe, off the top of my head. That's possible. And that's a challenge for that length of time, that they still don't see your vision, you know. And in the manner and the way in which you think and come to know in your growth and development, in your healing process, and your experiences of, and the source of your thinking, and where in the manner and way in which we need to approach a thing, and how we need to go about achieving and accomplishing one's goals, one's dreams, and one's aspirations together, you know. that I can incorporate your vision with my vision. Because remember, oneness is stronger than conflict, and unity is stronger than diversity. You ever been in a relationship with someone and you say, we sit down and we talk, and we say, well, this is where we want to go, and the manner and way in which we need to approach this thing, and how we need to go about achieving and accomplishing this goal and objective. But then those who are outside continue on social comparison and deep feelings of inadequacy about themselves and insecurities, that they come, and the greater of our influence, they come in and say that they agree on the surface, but beneath the surface they are at odds with you. So the relationship doesn't become any stronger. It becomes weaker. It becomes weakened and weaker. That's why there is no comparison when it comes to one's evolving process in a healing environment. Because the ultimate aim, of course, is accountability. But we want to be in a healing environment and grow in the knowledge of that healing environment. And some will grow in the knowledge of the healer, personal, But we want to be in an environment and in a relationship that we grow in the process of being healers for and one with another. So we want to be in an environment that is where our serenity goes up and our stress becomes lower. We do not want to be in a relationship or in an environment that is toxic, where it becomes very, very stressful. And it seemed to be the case when it comes to social comparison, and outside influence, was that we cannot compare ourselves to where someone else is and what someone else is doing. But what we must do in any healing environment, in any relationship, when it comes to the struggle of common sense versus nonsense, and reasoning from the premise of conversation and reasoning with progression, is that we want to progress, not regress. You see? And when we see the progress that we have made, we become attracted to that progress. We become more attracted to each other in a relationship, because we see the progress that we have made. And in the progress, the determining progress we have made, because we have grown in the knowledge as healers, or of healing each other. In any manner, any way in which we go about the healing process. See, and one of the things in any relationships is that they say, if anything go wrong, are your differences, because there may be differences, are they reconcilable? So yes, that's another form of healing process. And I call it, go through a conciliatory healing process, the common humanity mission way. And as I speak to the international community, and in relationships, when it comes to universal tolerance, I should say, is that the overcoming animosity and distrust, because what it leads to, if you don't lead to that, it comes to anxiety attacks. But there are those who are right among, and you can live right amongst them. And we live right close to one another. We spend time with one another. But yet, we tend to underestimate each other, undervalue each other, and there is a lack of respect for one another. So, and in that healing environment, A teacher said this here, an educator. He would not say I go beyond education. That if people that don't respect themselves, they won't protect themselves. So what needs to be protected is the healing environment, the progress that you and that person have made in any relationship, in any companionship. You know what I'm saying? Protect that because you respect it. You see the progress that we have made, but far too many times in the society in which we live, it draws us away from that. And when it draws us away from that, it's due to the fact that we participate in social comparisons. You see, because each relationship with him or herself personally is unique, and each relationship that the other person has with themselves is unique. And then we bring those unique experiences and those unique relationships, we merge them together logically and emotionally, and we bring balance to the relationship because we have an understanding now. And once we have an understanding, and what is that understanding? And that we want our serenity to be higher and our stress to be lower in that healing environment. So therefore, we grow in the knowledge of that progress, the knowledge of that healing environment, go in the knowledge of it. Yes. And you can tell if we have not grown. That means we have act in an immature manner. So that's why Common Humanity promotes the maturation process. And in the maturation process, it consists of 5 components: understanding, tolerance, temperance/temperament, confidence, and respect. It is the maturation process. It is the growth and development of the maturity that we have for the importance of growing in the knowledge of this healing environment. So there is a path that we must take, and in that path, it is the end result of that path, I may say, is first there is a conversion that one makes, and in that conversion, you see the light. You come into the light. And when you come into the light, means you come into the knowledge. And you come into the knowledge, you grow in that knowledge. And then when you grow in that knowledge, you help others to grow in that knowledge. And what is that knowledge of? It is the understanding that we must create a healing environment. That we become healers one with another. And when we become healers one with another, it is an environment of peace. It is an environment of love. It is an environment of understanding. It is an environment of patience. It is an environment of compassion. It is an environment of love. It is an environment of generosity. It is an environment of kindness. It is an environment that is balanced. That you don't have to look outside of that environment, of that healing environment that you have created, because you have become healers. You have grown in the knowledge of becoming healers of each other in a relationship, healers of yourself, healers of one another, because your stress, you have made progress as opposed to regress, because your stress has heightened. Your stress has lowered, and your serenity has become higher. So I say to you, when it comes to the making a connection with the international community, and doing so, it is a in-between as a mediator, a social interventionist, or social intervening as a social interventionist. that we become very determined and very resolute about growing in the knowledge, not only as a healer, but in relationship one with another, growing in the environment of being healers, whereas our serenity once again becomes higher and our stress becomes lower, and we know that we can greet people in a sense of peace, and whereas that we are no threat to one another, we become trustworthy, honorable, as we were created of people of nobility and dignity. As I always say, may we be granted success for our labor and joy for our sorrows. Reverend Walimu Kevin, the teachers of teachers, the preachers of preachers, when it comes to reverence. I try to go about expressing myself the benevolent way. Until next time, talk to you.